Good morning, everyone. Some people had asked me to make a video on how to replace the antennas on a version 1 Neo without damaging the boards on the inside. A version 1 Neo has 2 boards on the inside. An easy way to tell is if you hold it to the light, you can actually look up and look inside this case and you'll see 2 boards inside. A version 2 only has 1 board on the inside. Or another way to tell is simply as if the sticker that you see here goes down the side of the Neo. Like you see teleport 1, teleport 2 on the sticker itself, down the side of the Neo, then you know that's a version 1 as well. So you're gonna need a couple tools to do this. You're gonna need a razor knife. I use a razor knife to try to get the case apart and makes it a little bit easier. But the second more important tool is this guy here. It's nothing special. It's just a plastic tool that used to be like a pen for signing and stuff like that. And I made it like kind of sharp on one end. It's not super sharp, but it's plastic. Do not use metal. If you use metal, you run the risk of damaging the surface mounted components on the inside of the Neo. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing I do is you got to remove this sticker down the side of the Neo here in order to access the clips on the side. Now, I know if you want to try to save the case and you want to do this the easy way, what I do is I take my razor knife and I go down inside the case between the lips here. And if you lift it just enough, you can actually get it to separate away from the board. And then you go down to the second side and do the same thing. And what that'll do is allow you to get one half of the Neo open. And you'll see that it saves the pins. The pins don't get destroyed when you do that. And when you want to take it off the other side, you make sure the sticker is undone, which this one is pretty much, they're pretty much crap on this one. The sticker's been taken off a couple times. Anyway, you take it and you push physically that way. You push away from where the other pins are and then lift. And you'll see that all 4 pins are still saved. So you can actually, you didn't destroy the pins, they're still good, so you can still put the case back together. All right, if you break them, replace the case, or you can take tape and tape down the top of the case either way. All right, so then you lift the Neo from outside of the case. This, you just put a little pressure right here by the antenna grabs here, and that should lift the board up and out a little bit so you can actually access the second boards or the Neo, slide it right out. Now what you're trying to protect are these pins inside here. There's a connection, there's 4 connections. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 solder joints on the back of the board here. Those connections allow the main board to be connected to the receiver board. But what you need to replace are the antennas, which are held on by the ends right here, okay? Now you can see the wire looks like it kind of goes back this way and loops around. It goes to the front and then back this way. And that is in order to get the Neos so that the wires don't stick out past this, because you can see where the pins come out at the end here. It's pretty close. So what I do is you see the double-sided tape on the inside here, that has to be separated from the top and the bottom. So you take and you slowly but surely just move that double-sided tape away from the top board. So what you're trying to do is expose the 2 wires, the antennas, so that you can get them outside of this little area in here, and that'll allow you to replace them without having to put pressure on the board, the second part of the board. So you just take your time, work with it. Be methodical, take your time, because if you make a mistake, it's not going to end up well. All right, now once you have that tape moved out of the way, you see it's down a little bit. All right, you see the pins on the bottom. What I do is I take and I slide this little guy forward right here, which is the antenna, the holder for the antennas when it goes into the case, just a little bit, and pull the wires to the side. Now what that's going to do is allow me to try to pull the antennas forward so that I can get access to these 2 pins right here, which is what the antennas are attached to. All right, so I'm just going to take it and just give it a little bit of a tug, not hard. Just go slowly, take your time, and pull on one at a time if necessary. And you see that it kind of rolls to the forward, rolls to the front, And then the second one should roll to the front here too. Remember, that's that double-sided tape holding those guys down. Okay, so now you have those to the front. Okay, you got one here and one on the other side. The other side is going to be a little bit easier once you get the first one off. But the object is not to spread a whole lot of movement this way in order to get those pins, because that's what's going to cause the problem. So you take your spudge, once you got that, and what I do is I give it just a little bit of pressure to kind of hold it away so you can push this up. You push this one antenna up. Take your time, get it to the front. Push it up, and you see that it comes right off the board. Okay. Now that's out. So it's stuck with a little double-sided tape. Okay, now the second one slides right underneath it, as you can see it. And then it too, because it was had a little help there, pops right out. Okay, so now you see two boards are still intact, and nothing's been destroyed as far as trying to move the boards. Everything looks good, still in two pieces. All right, now to reinstall the antennas, the only thing you need to do, a little bit different, is make sure this tape is flat and it doesn't impede you from getting the new antennas in. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to reinstall the old antennas. I'm going to remove this to simulate two new antennas. All right, so you got antenna number one. All you do is you take it and you slide it underneath the pin connection. You want to make sure that it lines up with the pin. You don't want to push on it if it's not lined up, because that you can potentially destroy the little part in the center that actually makes the connection. Take your time. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a pain, but take your time. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be. Slide it in. I'm doing a gentle spread on the board. You can put a little bit of pressure there, just not a lot. Okay, now once you got it in position where it needs to be, all I do is I just take and I push on the top of the thing, and that's what holds the pin in place. Now the pin is on the board. You take the second one, give it a gentle spread. Here, make sure your tape is out of the way. See, that's a little bit in the way. Inspect, make sure the first one's on. It is. Okay. Take and slide that second one in. Just a gentle spread on the thing, just enough to get the head of this antenna in the right spot. You don't want to put a whole lot more than that on there. Gentle spread, slide it in. You can use a sponge and try to get it into place if necessary. Got two ends on this guy. I got a sharp end and a pointy end. Makes it really nice for getting into stuff like this. All right. Now, once you got it in position, you can take and do exactly the same thing you did with the first one. Just push down on top of the board and get it in. Like I said, my eyes are nowhere near as good as they used to be. Can't quite tell if that's in there. Okay, there we go. Okay, push it, hold it. Okay, so now you got two antennas back on the board. You take it and you can take the first one and just slide it down like this. Second one, slide it down so it goes back into that little spot. So what that does is give you clearance for the antenna when you get back in there. And then what I do is push the first one into that little taped area. Second one into the taped area. Just a little bit in there, a little bit further. And then obviously fold them back forward again. And that should give you the clearance to get them pushed back into this little area here. Now, they don't have to be all the way in there perfectly, because you can align them when you're putting them in the case as well. Sometimes they pop out like what just happened there. But it's not hard to do. Just take your time. You have to be patient with the version 1s. But once you've done it, I mean, once or twice, you kind of get the gist of it. You can move a little bit faster. Okay, once it's in there, you can try and get the tape back up. But I can tell you from experience, the tape getting back up is a little bit more of a challenging task because it just doesn't line up as easily. So I didn't have the first one all the way back in there, so let's push that back a bit further. Get that in. So that double-sided tape is holding me up there. Flat side. Okay, there we go. Get that bugger in there. Take the second one. Get it in there. All right, so now antennas are in. Now you grab your case. You slide your Neo in your case. Which the receiver board goes on top when you're putting it in. And a way to tell when you're doing it is when you put your case top back on, you'll see where the USB, okay, I apologize. I had it backwards. The 3 pins on top go this way. So the receiver board goes on the bottom. Slide it in. And you'll see where the USB lines up when you do it. If you do it correctly on the top of the case, you can look and see where the USB lines up there. So slide that on in, slide this guy down like this, snaps in. Then you can take and slide this back on the top of your antenna wires. On this guy, if you look at it, it's kind of hard to tell, but one side on the bottom is rounded and one side is flat. The top is flat, the bottom is rounded. The bottom goes towards the bottom of the Neo case. So if you look at it here, you can see where the bottom of the Neo case, get my fingers out of the way, is rounded there and it's flat at the top. So when you slide this back on, you want to put the rounded part at the bottom. So we'll take this, slide this in here. If you put it in wrong, it will not fit. No matter what you do, how much you cuss at it, yell at it, it will not fit. You'll end up breaking the case and you'll be mad and have to start all over again. Okay, put this one in here. Also, sometimes what happens is over time, like when you pull these out, if the end of that gets boogered up, it won't slide into these very easily too. Sometimes it's a little bit more of a pain to get them in there. But anyway, okay, so now you get that on. You can slide that up just a little bit and push that down into its little slot, in which the antennas will kind of, once it gets in the slot, the antennas actually push it forward and hold it into place. So take this guy here, slide it down into a slot, done. That's on top. And you take your case top, align it to where it needs to be. Let's move this whole sticker out of the way. Sticker got messed up there. Well, that's just gonna be a mess. So I'll end up replacing that sticker too. Anyway, here, let's take this off completely. That way you can see the case snap together. Move that part out of the way so you can see that. This is an old sticker. It's all beat up, and I'll replace it with another sticker here. Okay. All right, so you can see the top of the case now. You see the front side and then the back side for the USB and the pin connection. Let's take this, slide it right over the top. What I like to do is make sure it's lined up, put one side on like this first, all right? And then come to the other side and pull it towards you and snap it on like this, just like that. You hear it snap, it's on. So now the case top is on, none of the pins are broken. You replace the antennas on your Neo and it's ready to go. If you have any other questions, you can message me here or on social media. I'm on Instagram at, my name there is Ronald Thomas or Laughing Still, and on Facebook is just Ronald Thomas. So hit me up if you need me. Thanks.